5 days ago, a billboard appeared in the heart of Times Square, New York City. There was no title, no explanation, just an eerie, upside-down eye glaring through a silhouette, and 4 chilling words: "All will be disclosed." The internet exploded, trying to make sense of it all. And why wouldn't it? The name behind the mysterious campaign was none other than Steven Spielberg, the iconic filmmaker who introduced the world to Close Encounters of the Third Kind nearly 5 decades ago. Spielberg, whose films on extraterrestrial life have shaped generations, is once again taking on the topic of aliens. But this time, it's at the very moment when 3 Atlas, the mysterious interstellar visitor, is making its closest approach to Earth. On December 19th, just 5 days from now, 3 Atlas will pass within 167 million miles of our planet. At the same time, Spielberg's trailer for his untitled UFO film will be released to the public. The coincidence seems almost too perfect, doesn't it? But as you'll soon see, the timing of these events cannot be ignored. By the end of this video, you'll understand why millions are starting to see these events as part of a larger, interconnected narrative, one that could be preparing humanity for something we're just starting to grasp. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and like this video. And while you're at it, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, what time it is, and, most importantly, whether you believe we're being prepared for something bigger than what we've been told. The billboard that shook Times Square. There's something poetic about the way certain events unfold in human history. We tend to call them coincidences when they make us uncomfortable, and signs when they align with our beliefs. But what do we call it when the most renowned filmmaker in history, a man whose alien films have shaped the collective imagination of 3 generations, unveils a cryptic marketing campaign for an untitled UFO film, just as an interstellar visitor of unprecedented proportions approaches our planet? On December 10th, mysterious billboards began popping up across Los Angeles and New York City. The visuals were purposefully unsettling, an upside-down, pale human eye peering through a silhouette resembling that of a bird. Some speculated that it resembled a blue jay, which held fascinating implications for those familiar with Cold War-era projects like Project Bluebird. But it was the text that truly caught the attention of millions. All will be disclosed. Spielberg, June 12th. If you've been following the journey of 3 Atlas, you'll already know that it's the 3rd confirmed interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. Its size is potentially the largest interstellar visitor we've ever observed, with estimates of its nucleus diameter ranging between 3 and 12 miles. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has catalogued 13 distinct anomalies that, according to him, cannot be easily explained by conventional cometary science. But what many might not have noticed until now is the uncanny timing of these events. On December 19th, 3 Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth. Coincidentally, Spielberg's first trailer for his untitled UFO film is set to premiere, attached to showings of films like Avatar, Fire, and Ash. And this all happens against the backdrop of what could be the most significant year for UFO disclosure in U.S. history. Let me walk you through what's been happening in just the past few weeks. A year of unprecedented disclosure. On November 21st, the documentary The Age of Disclosure premiered on Amazon Prime Video. Within 48 hours, it shattered records, becoming the highest-grossing documentary of all time, surpassing even major studio theatrical releases like Jurassic World Rebirth. The film features interviews with 34 current and former government officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who make extraordinary claims about an 80-year global cover-up regarding non-human intelligence. Director Dan Farrer stated publicly that he believes it is only a matter of time before a sitting president addresses the world and reveals that we are not alone. Less than 3 weeks after The Age of Disclosure shatters records, Spielberg's billboard makes its appearance. All will be disclosed. Think about the implications of what we're witnessing. A documentary alleging decades of government secrecy becomes the most successful documentary in streaming history. Congress is pushing for UAP transparency with bipartisan support. Representative Anna Paulina Luna publicly demands NASA release classified images of 3 Atlas, and Hollywood's most legendary science fiction filmmaker is returning to the genre that defined his career, using language in his marketing campaign that mirrors the very terminology used by disclosure advocates. Spielberg's connection to the UFO debate. For those unfamiliar with the conspiracy theories surrounding Spielberg's earlier works, let me provide some context. During the production of Close Encounters of the Third Kind in 1976, rumors spread among the cast and crew that the film was part of a deliberate government program to acclimate the public to the reality of extraterrestrial contact. Actor Bob Balaban even documented these whispers in his production diary at the time. Spielberg himself seemed to flirt with this possibility in a 1977 interview, where he commented that he wouldn't put it past the government to have been conducting a cosmic Watergate for the last 25 years. Whether you believe these theories or dismiss them as paranoid speculation, what we know for sure today demands our attention. Spielberg's new film. Written by longtime collaborator David Coupe, the mind behind Jurassic Park and War of the Worlds, reportedly stars Emily Blunt, who is pursued by shadowy figures in unmarked black vehicles. Early descriptions mention dramatic chase sequences, a collision with a speeding train, and Colin Firth overseeing an underground facility that looks eerily similar to a secret government installation. The tone of the film seems darker than anything Spielberg has ever done before. This is no longer a story about friendly visitors making contact with awestruck humans. It looks like something else entirely, and the timing couldn't be more suspicious. The first trailer is set to drop the same week that 3 Atlas reaches its closest approach to Earth. The anomalies of 3 Atlas now. I want to be clear about something. I'm not suggesting Spielberg is privy to classified information about 3 Atlas. I'm not claiming there is a coordinated effort between Hollywood and government agencies to prepare humanity for imminent contact. What I am pointing out is the unmistakable pattern of convergence. When multiple threads of a narrative begin weaving together so perfectly, we have a responsibility to examine them openly rather than dismiss them out of hand. Let's consider what Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist, has been saying for months. Loeb has faced significant backlash from the mainstream scientific community for suggesting that 3 Atlas displays anomalies that aren't easily explained by natural phenomena. His colleagues have called his theories nonsense, and NASA officials have repeatedly insisted that the object is simply an interstellar comet behaving like a comet should. But Loeb continues to catalogue observations that, in his opinion, suggest the possibility of something much more extraordinary. The retrograde orbit, the alignment within 5 degrees of the ecliptic plane, the unprecedented size, the antitail pointing toward the sun instead of away from it, the nickel-rich emissions without corresponding iron. These are just some of the anomalies that Loeb continues to document. In fact, 3 Atlas is on a trajectory that will take it past Mars, Venus, and now Earth, before heading toward a remarkably precise encounter with Jupiter in March of 2026. While Loeb acknowledges that 3 Atlas is most likely a natural comet, he argues that we shouldn't dismiss the possibility that it's something else entirely simply because it makes us uncomfortable. If 3 Atlas is technological, Loeb has suggested, it could pose a potential threat to humanity. We don't yet have a response protocol for alien technology, and that's where Spielberg's billboard takes on new meaning. All will be disclosed. Those words carry weight within the UFO community. Disclosure isn't just a tagline or a movie slogan. It's a concept that represents decades of hope and a belief that governments around the world will finally reveal the truth about UFOs and non-human intelligence. Conclusion. The countdown begins. As December 19th draws closer, we find ourselves at a moment in history where the lines between science fiction and reality are blurring. The trailer for Spielberg's UFO film is dropping. 3 Atlas is making its closest approach, and global movements toward UFO disclosure are reaching critical mass. The question is no longer whether 3 Atlas is just a comet. The question is what we're going to do with the extraordinary data we're collecting. What will the upcoming observations reveal? Will they confirm Lowe's suspicions that something far more complex and intentional is happening, or will we see 3 Atlas behave like a typical comet, providing us with the knowledge we need to refine our models of interstellar objects? Either way, the next few days will change everything. As the December 19th observation window opens, the world will be watching. In just 5 days, 3I Atlas will reach its perigee, coming within 167 million miles of Earth. This is the closest the interstellar object will get to our planet. And it will be the moment when the scientific community and amateur astronomers alike turn their eyes to the skies. The James Webb Space Telescope, armed with its unprecedented spectroscopic capabilities, will collect crucial data about this mysterious visitor, while the Hubble Space Telescope will capture high-resolution images that could finally unlock the secrets of this object. At the same time, millions will flock to theaters to witness the first footage of Steven Spielberg's highly anticipated UFO film, a film that some believe may mirror the very themes we're experiencing in real life. The convergence of these events cannot be dismissed as a coincidence. There is a deeper connection, and it is one that we are only beginning to understand. On December 19th, 3I Atlas will pass by Earth at a distance that's close enough to provide unprecedented views, but still far enough to preserve the mystery surrounding this interstellar object. As this cosmic traveler approaches, hundreds of telescopes worldwide will be trained on the constellation Leo to gather images that reveal more about its composition and behavior. This particular date is also significant because it coincides with the release of the first trailer for Spielberg's untitled UFO film, premiering in theaters alongside Avatar: Fire and Ash. This alignment of scientific observation and cultural entertainment creates a compelling moment that calls into question what is unfolding around us. The possibility that these events are connected on a cosmic scale is hard to ignore. The cosmic and cultural convergence. Let's talk about why December 19th is so critical. From an astronomical perspective, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. 3I Atlas will be just 167 million miles away, placing it within range of our most powerful telescopes. For the first time, astronomers will be able to study this interstellar object in unprecedented detail, capturing the chemical signatures of gases and dust streaming from its nucleus. The data collected could answer fundamental questions about the object's composition and its behavior as it interacts with the solar wind. The timing of these observations is made even more exceptional by the new moon, which will allow for optimal viewing conditions with minimal light pollution. This means that astronomers, both amateur and professional, will have the clearest view yet of 3I Atlas. As 3I Atlas makes its closest approach, the James Webb Space Telescope will be taking follow-up observations. Hubble, too, will capture additional high-resolution imagery, and the results could finally settle some of the lingering debates about this interstellar visitor. Does the mysterious anti-tail, which points toward the sun rather than away from it, have a natural explanation? What exactly is the composition of the object's nucleus? Are the jets emanating from its surface a result of sublimating ice, or do they suggest something more complex? These questions have divided the scientific community for months, and December 19th may provide the answers. What makes this moment even more intriguing is the simultaneous cultural event. Spielberg's latest film, a darker take on the subject of extraterrestrial contact, will be introduced to audiences around the world just as 3I Atlas reaches its closest point to Earth. The marketing campaign for the film, with its promises of disclosure, feels eerily timely, given the ongoing push for transparency surrounding UFOs and extraterrestrial life. The disclosure moment. In the past few weeks, the world has been abuzz with the release of The Age of Disclosure, a documentary that has quickly become the most successful documentary in streaming history. The film, which features testimony from former government officials, claims that there has been an 80-year global cover-up regarding non-human intelligence. This film has ignited further public discussion and has even led to bipartisan calls in Congress for increased transparency about unidentified aerial phenomena UAPs. 3i Atlas, meanwhile, continues to captivate scientists and the public alike. As Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has pointed out, there are a staggering number of anomalies associated with the object that cannot be easily explained by conventional cometary science. In light of all this, Spielberg's decision to release a film about extraterrestrial life during this exact moment in time feels far from random. His history with films about UFOs and alien contact has left an indelible mark on public consciousness, shaping how multiple generations of people think about the possibility of life beyond Earth. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, his 1977 film about human contact with extraterrestrials, was said by some to have been made with inside knowledge provided by government insiders to help prepare the public for future revelations. Whether or not you believe that theory, the timing of his current project, especially in the context of 3i Atlas, demands attention. Scientific and cultural clocks ticking together as December 19th draws closer. The stakes become clearer. It's a day of remarkable convergence. From a scientific perspective, the data collected from this interstellar object could fundamentally reshape our understanding of what lies beyond our solar system. 3i Atlas could offer the first in-depth look at a comet from another star system, revealing secrets about its composition, its behavior, and the conditions it has experienced over billions of years in space. At the same time, Hollywood is ramping up its own contributions to the cultural dialogue surrounding extraterrestrial life. Spielberg's film, which promises to explore darker, more unsettling themes of alien contact, will hit theaters just as 3i Atlas reaches its closest point to Earth. The juxtaposition of these two events, the scientific and the cinematic, feels significant. As the world waits to understand 3i Atlas's true nature, Spielberg is once again exploring the mysteries of extraterrestrial life, reminding us of the questions that have fascinated humanity for generations. The December 19th observation window. As the December 19th observation window opens, the world will be watching. It's not just about the scientific data we'll collect, although that is of immense importance. It's also about the broader implications of what this moment means in the context of disclosure, UFO transparency, and the cultural fascination with extraterrestrial life. 3i Atlas is an object from another star system, and its arrival in our solar system is a historic event in itself. The fact that this object is so close to Earth on the very same day that Spielberg's trailer for his UFO film is released is more than a coincidence. It's a reminder that the universe may be communicating with us in ways we are just beginning to understand. Whether through scientific discovery or cultural storytelling, we are witnessing a moment in history that will shape the future of our understanding of extraterrestrial life. In the coming chapters, we'll dive deeper into the anomalies identified by Avi Loeb, the data NASA has released and what may still be hidden, and trace the trajectory of 3i Atlas as it heads toward its encounter with Jupiter in 2026. This is only the beginning. The questions raised by this interstellar visitor will take years to fully unravel, and December 19th will be a pivotal moment in our quest to understand what lies beyond. Are we ready for the answers? Only time will tell. In just a few days, 3i Atlas will reach its perigee, its closest approach to Earth, coming within 167 million miles of our planet. This marks a significant moment for scientists, as it will allow the James Webb Space Telescope to gather high-resolution spectroscopic data, and Hubble will capture images that could provide key insights into the true nature of this interstellar visitor. Meanwhile, the world will turn its attention to the premiere of Spielberg's new UFO film trailer, which, by coincidence, is set to air the same week. Whether this is all a mere coincidence or part of a deeper, more meaningful convergence is something we'll soon understand. On December 19th, 3i Atlas will pass closest to Earth. And this timing will also coincide with the first footage of Spielberg's untitled UFO film being shown in theaters. This perfect alignment of cultural and scientific events cannot be dismissed as random. The trailer for Spielberg's latest film will be paired with Avatar: Fire and Ash in cinemas, offering a striking juxtaposition to the cosmic spectacle taking place just outside our world. The universe seems to be lining up these two monumental events in a way that demands closer inspection. The convergence of science and cinema. As 3i Atlas nears its closest approach to Earth, observatories around the world are preparing for the best opportunity yet to study this interstellar object. The timing of this event is even more extraordinary when you consider the premiere of Spielberg's film. The movie promises to delve into darker themes of extraterrestrial life and government secrecy, something that resonates deeply with the current push for transparency in UFO disclosure. This alignment of the cultural and astronomical timelines is noteworthy, and it challenges us to reflect on what is happening around us right now. A cosmic puzzle with 13 anomalies. For those following the story of 3i Atlas, you are aware of the many questions it has raised. The object is the third interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. Estimates suggest its nucleus diameter could be as large as 3 to 12 miles, making it one of the most massive interstellar visitors ever observed. But what's even more fascinating are the 13 anomalies catalogued by Harvard astrophysicist Avi Lowe. Lowe has pointed out that many of these anomalies do not fit the conventional models of cometary science, which has led to intense debates within the scientific community. The most significant anomaly is the retrograde orbit of 3i Atlas. Most objects in our solar system orbit the Sun in the same direction, following the motion established when the solar system formed billions of years ago. However, 3i Atlas is moving in the opposite direction, against the grain of solar system dynamics. This is a peculiar feature, and some scientists, like Lowe, have speculated that it could be indicative of an object designed to release probes into stable orbits around inner planets, a maneuver that would be ideal for a spacecraft on a reconnaissance mission. Other anomalies include the object's trajectory, which brings it dangerously close to our solar system's planets, and the peculiar behavior of its anti-tail, which points directly toward the Sun instead of away from it, something that has never been observed in any other comet. There's also the issue of the object's unusual size and the timing of its perihelion. When it passed closest to the Sun, 3i Atlas reached this critical point just days after passing into solar conjunction, making it impossible for Earth-based instruments to observe it. Some, like Lowe, have speculated that this could have been an opportunity for the object to perform maneuvers that would have been invisible to our instruments. December 19th, the key moment. The upcoming December 19th, 2025, holds great importance in both scientific and cultural contexts. The object's proximity to Earth will provide the best chance yet for astronomers to capture critical data. And the timing of this event, with Spielberg's trailer premiere, suggests something more than mere coincidence. On this day, the world will not only witness the culmination of 3i Atlas's journey, but will also be exposed to a cinematic interpretation of what the future of extraterrestrial contact could look like. The dual significance of these events invites us to question if we are being prepared for something much bigger than we could have anticipated. If 3i Atlas is just an unusual but natural interstellar comet, then the data gathered will most likely confirm that conclusion. Its trajectory and behavior will align with conventional cometary science, and the anomalies, like the anti-tail, will be explained by more conventional processes such as ice fragment dynamics or debris swarms. But if something unexpected occurs, if the data begins to reveal signs that strain natural explanations, then December 19th could mark the beginning of a much deeper conversation about extraterrestrial life and technology. What does it all mean? This isn't just about abstract philosophical questions regarding extraterrestrial life. We are talking about a physical object, one that can be observed, measured, and analyzed with the most sophisticated instruments humanity has ever developed. If 3I Atlas proves to be a natural object, the scientific community will gain a deeper understanding of the chemistry and dynamics of other star systems. Already, the object's carbon dioxide to water ice ratio, recorded by the James Webb Space Telescope, is one of the highest ever observed, providing a unique glimpse into the conditions that exist in distant parts of the galaxy. However, if 3I Atlas turns out to be something else, something that challenges the conventional wisdom, then December 19th will be remembered as the day everything changed. Avi Lowe has already suggested that if the object's anomalies cannot be explained by natural processes, 3I Atlas could pose a genuine threat to humanity. We do not have protocols for dealing with alien technology or encounters with extraterrestrial life. And this uncertainty is what makes the coming days so significant. The role of Spielberg's film. Spielberg's work has always been intertwined with our collective fascination with extraterrestrial life. Close Encounters of the Third Kind depicted alien contact as transcendent. E.T. portrayed it as personal and heartwarming, while War of the Worlds showed it as a catastrophic event. His upcoming film is said to take a darker approach, with government agents, underground facilities, and the ominous promise that all will be disclosed. These themes resonate strongly with the current discourse surrounding UFOs, government transparency, and the increasing calls for disclosure. The film's timing, debuting on the same day that 3I Atlas reaches its closest approach to Earth, only deepens the sense that something significant is unfolding, the moment of truth. As we approach December 19th, all eyes will be on the sky. The combination of close proximity, optimal viewing conditions, and full deployment of Earth's observational resources will create a window of unprecedented scientific potential. The possibility of discovering something extraordinary, something that challenges our understanding of the universe, could become a reality. Whether the object proves to be a natural comet or something much more, 3I Atlas is giving us a rare and invaluable opportunity to examine the mysteries of the cosmos in real time. The timing of these events, 3I Atlas's approach, Spielberg's trailer, the rise of UFO transparency suggests that the world is on the cusp of something monumental. What happens next could forever alter our understanding of what lies beyond our planet and challenge the very fabric of our reality. 3I Atlas is not just another comet. It is a symbol of a larger, deeper narrative that is unfolding right now. And December 19th may very well be the day everything converges. We are about to find out. The 11th anomaly is the non-gravitational acceleration detected after 3I Atlas passed perihelion. This acceleration is significant because it doesn't align with the typical behavior of a comet. Comets usually experience acceleration due to the release of gas and dust as they approach the Sun, causing them to change speed as their volatile materials sublimate. However, the acceleration detected in 3I Atlas is unusual because it doesn't follow the expected pattern of gradual change. Instead, it appears to be consistent and has been ongoing even after the comet's closest approach. This raises questions about what is generating this acceleration and whether it is caused by forces beyond typical cometary activity. The 12th anomaly is related to the object's rotation. 3I Atlas has a very specific and consistent rotational period of approximately 16 hours. This pattern of pulsating variability in brightness is not typical for a comet. Most comets display irregular variability in brightness due to the unpredictable nature of which regions of the surface become active at different times. The consistent, rhythmic pulsation observed in 3I Atlas suggests something more controlled or mechanical at play, raising the possibility that there is a source of periodic activity or a structure that might be generating the observed effects. The 13th anomaly involves the object's behavior as it nears the solar system. One of the most puzzling aspects of 3I Atlas is its rapid brightening as it approaches the Sun. Comets typically brighten as they come closer to the Sun, due to increased solar radiation causing their surfaces to heat up and release gas. However, 3I Atlas exhibited a far faster rate of brightening than anticipated. Furthermore, At perihelion, it appeared to emit light that was distinctly bluer than the sun, which is unusual for a comet. Normally, the dust around a comet's surface scatters sunlight, giving it a redder hue, especially when colder than the sun. The unexpected blue coloration suggests either a heat source hotter than the sun itself or a process that deviates from conventional cometary physics, which challenges our understanding of how comets behave. Each of these anomalies, taken individually, could be explained by natural phenomena, though some are highly unusual and don't align with established cometary behavior. However, when combined, the convergence of these 13 anomalies begins to raise more significant questions about the nature of 3I Atlas. The statistical probability of all of these rare features occurring together by chance is incredibly low, prompting some scientists to question whether 3I Atlas could be something more than just an ordinary comet. Avi Lowe, who has closely studied the object, estimates that the likelihood of 3I Atlas being a natural object is extremely slim. Instead, he suggests that it might be an interstellar probe, either a relic or an active mission, operating under conditions that challenge conventional models. This possibility becomes even more compelling when we consider 3I Atlas's trajectory. It is on a path that aligns precisely with Jupiter's Hill radius, a gravitational sweet spot where objects can remain stable with minimal energy. The object's retrograde orbit, its non-gravitational acceleration, and its unusual size are all anomalies that suggest the object's design could be deliberate. The possibility of 3I Atlas being an alien probe, carefully maneuvered into a strategic orbit, cannot be ruled out. Moreover, the timing of 3I Atlas's arrival is worth noting. Its closest approach to Earth coincides with significant cultural and scientific milestones, such as the release of Spielberg's UFO film and the continued push for UAP disclosure in the political arena. These events are occurring in parallel with 3I Atlas's approach, leading some to wonder if there is a deeper connection between these converging threads, whether intentional or purely coincidental. This alignment cannot be overlooked. As we approach December 19th, the moment of closest approach, the data gathered will either confirm the object as a natural comet or challenge us to rethink our understanding of what we're witnessing. If the anomalies cannot be reconciled with natural processes, the implications for science and humanity could be profound. What if 3I Atlas isn't just a comet? What if it's something more? The next few weeks will bring us closer to the answer. But 3I Atlas does not fit that explanation. The viewing geometry in July did not support a perspective-based anti-tail. Unlike typical comets that only display an anti-tail when viewed from a specific angle, 3I Atlas's sunward-facing feature was visible from the start, even when it was still far from perihelion. This presented a critical departure from what we know about cometary behavior. The object's anti-tail remained consistent, not just during its approach, but through the entire perihelion passage, which continued to puzzle astronomers. Its alignment with the sun and its persistence over time made it clear that this phenomenon could not be simply attributed to a viewing angle or perspective. Something other than traditional cometary physics was at work. This anti-tail has been one of the most talked about anomalies, with several hypotheses being proposed to explain it. Some of the explanations offered suggest that the tail is a result of tiny fragments of ice being shed from the sun-facing side of 3I Atlas particles that vaporize before solar radiation pressure can push them outward. While plausible, this explanation only accounts for part of the mystery. Avi Lowe, in his research, has proposed an alternative theory that could explain the anti-tail's unique behavior. He suggests that the anti-tail may consist of larger objects lagging behind the comet due to its non-gravitational acceleration. This, he believes, might be caused by forces that go beyond the usual outgassing dynamics we associate with comets. The behavior of 3I Atlas raises questions about how we define a comet. Could it be that the anomalies we observe are pushing us to rethink what we consider normal for an interstellar object? Are we witnessing a comet-like object or something else entirely? These anomalies have continued to accumulate and defy explanation, leading to increased speculation about the true nature of this object. The other anomalies are just as perplexing. Consider the trajectory of 3I Atlas. It is moving in a retrograde orbit, which is unusual for most interstellar objects, while comets in our solar system usually move in the same direction as the planets. 3I Atlas is moving in the opposite direction. This retrograde orbit raises further questions about the object's origins and its possible purpose. If this object were intended to study the inner solar system, this orbital pattern would be ideal. A retrograde orbit allows for a tactical approach that minimizes the chance of detection, making it perfect for a reconnaissance mission. And then there's the object's size, estimated to be up to 3 femkilometers in diameter. In comparison, the first 2 interstellar objects detected, Oumuamua and Borisov, were much smaller, which makes 3I Atlas significantly more massive. Statistically, objects of this size should be far more common. Yet we have detected only a handful of interstellar visitors in recent history. So why haven't we observed more of these larger objects, if they are indeed passing through our solar system? This anomaly hints at the possibility that 3I Atlas may not be a random sample from the natural population of interstellar objects. The timing of the object's perihelion is also quite extraordinary. 3I Atlas reached its closest approach to the Sun on October 29th, just 8 days after entering solar conjunction, which means it was hidden behind the Sun from Earth's perspective. This brief period of concealment raises the possibility that the object could have performed maneuvers undetected by ground-based instruments. This could be a strategic move on the part of an interstellar probe, an act of deliberate concealment during its closest approach to the Sun. This timing brings us back to December 19th, the date of closest approach, and the moment when 3I Atlas will be closest to Earth. The astronomical community is holding its breath as this critical window opens up. Telescopes from around the world are preparing to gather the most detailed images and data from this object. The James Webb Space Telescope will be capturing spectroscopic data, which could offer unprecedented insight into the chemical composition of 3I Atlas. This is when we will finally have the opportunity to test whether the object's unusual behavior can be explained by natural cometary processes or if it suggests something more extraordinary. As we draw closer to December 19th, the world will be waiting for the answers. Will we find that 3I Atlas is simply an odd but natural comet? Or will the data reveal something that challenges our understanding of the universe? As scientists continue to study the data, the questions surrounding 3I Atlas only grow more intriguing. In the end, 3I Atlas will provide us with answers, whether they be answers about the nature of comets, the dynamics of interstellar objects, or something much more profound. The next few weeks will be crucial. If the data confirms the object's natural origins, it will offer new insights into how comets evolve in different star systems. But if the data challenges the conventional explanations, it will spark a new conversation about what's possible, both in terms of science and in the realm of interstellar exploration. Either way, we are on the verge of a breakthrough that will likely reshape our understanding of the cosmos. The 3I Atlas anomaly remains one of the most perplexing and fascinating astronomical phenomena we've observed in recent times. Among its many curious characteristics, the most confounding is undoubtedly the object's anti-tail, which persisted long after its perihelion passage, defying expectations. As the viewing geometry of the object changed dramatically from July to November, scientists expected the anti-tail to fade or shift direction, but it didn't. The persistence of this sunward-facing feature raised serious questions about its true nature, and the scientific community has been grappling with how to explain it ever since. R.V. Lowe and his team have offered 3 main explanations to account for this anomaly. The first explanation suggests that the anti-tail is composed of ice fragments shed from 3I Atlas's sun-facing side. As solar radiation heats the comet's surface, sublimation causes larger ice fragments to be ejected in the direction of the Sun. These fragments would initially travel sunward but sublimate and disappear before solar radiation pressure could reverse their motion. This would explain why they remain pointing toward the Sun rather than away from it. While plausible, This theory doesn't account for the long-term persistence of the anti-tail, especially given that the object is moving farther from the Sun, where sublimation should decrease. The second explanation, also developed by Lowe, with collaborator Eric Keto, suggests that the sublimation of ice particles could produce thrust on the remaining material, propelling the ice toward the Sun even as solar radiation pressure pushes the particles outward. In this scenario, the balance between these forces would allow the ice particles to maintain their sunward trajectory for a while before eventually reversing direction or evaporating. However, this still doesn't fully explain why the anti-tail has remained so consistent, even after the comet moved beyond its closest approach to the Sun. The third explanation proposed by Lowe is the most striking. He suggests that the anti-tail could consist of much larger objects, debris or boulders, ejected from 3I Atlas in the sunward direction. These larger objects would not be affected by solar radiation pressure in the same way as small dust particles. Instead, they would follow the trajectory of the comet, lagging behind as the comet accelerates under non-gravitational forces. This debris would create a sunward-facing trail that is visible from Earth. And unlike ice fragments, the larger objects wouldn't evaporate. This explanation raises intriguing possibilities if 3I Atlas is shedding large objects. Future space missions could potentially intercept and study fragments of an interstellar visitor, providing direct samples from another star system. A fourth, more speculative explanation has been hinted at by Lowe. He suggests that if 3I Atlas were an artificial object, possibly a spacecraft, the anti-tail could be exhaust from propulsion systems. A spacecraft decelerating as it passes through the inner solar system would produce exhaust pointing in the direction of travel, which, from Earth's perspective, might appear to point toward the Sun. Although Lowe has been cautious about pushing this hypothesis too far, he acknowledges that it remains a possibility, albeit an extraordinary one. What makes this anomaly so intriguing is its continued persistence. The latest images from an amateur astronomer in Thailand, taken just days ago, continue to show the anti-tail in full view. This structure, which should have diminished as 3I Atlas moved farther from the Sun, has instead become more pronounced. This defies the expectations of the ice fragment hypothesis, which would predict a fainter anti-tail as the object moves away from the Sun and the rate of sublimation decreases. However, under the large debris hypothesis, the persistence makes perfect sense once ejected. Larger objects would continue on their trajectory indefinitely, maintaining the sunward structure for as long as the object is observable. While NASA officials have not publicly addressed the anti-tail in great detail, the persistence of this feature and its defiance of conventional cometary behavior remains a genuine scientific mystery. NASA's official stance, supported by many in the scientific community, is that 3I Atlas is a comet displaying unusual but natural behavior. However, this confidence is not universally shared. Critics, including R.V. Lowe, have argued that these anomalies are significant enough to warrant a closer look at alternative explanations. The scientific community may be unwilling to entertain the possibility of extraterrestrial technology just yet, but 3I Atlas is challenging our assumptions about interstellar visitors. As we approach December 19th, the date of closest approach, the scientific community's collective breath will be held in anticipation of new observations and data. Will we finally understand the physical processes behind the anti-tail? Will we discover that 3I Atlas is simply an unusual but natural interstellar comet? Or will the data reveal something so extraordinary that it forces us to rethink everything we know about these objects? In the coming weeks, scientists will continue to analyze the data from the James Webb Space Telescope, Hubble, and ground-based observatories. If 3I Atlas behaves as predicted, the anomalies may eventually be explained by conventional physics, but if the object continues to defy expectations, it will likely spark a much broader conversation, one that reaches beyond the scientific community and into the realm of speculation about the true nature of this interstellar visitor. For now, The antitail remains one of the most compelling and puzzling aspects of 3I Atlas, a feature that refuses to be easily categorized, and one that will continue to captivate both scientists and the public alike. As December 19th approaches, the clock is ticking toward what could be the most significant astronomical observation in years. The answers, when they come, will change the way we look at the universe, interstellar objects, and possibly even the existence of extraterrestrial life. But until then, the mystery endures. The antitail points toward the sun, and the questions continue to multiply. The persistent mystery of 3I Atlas deepens with each passing day, and as the object draws closer to its perihelion, the weight of its anomalies becomes harder to ignore. The antitail, a feature no natural comet has ever displayed in such a consistent and sunward direction, continues to baffle scientists. Although explanations involving ice fragments or debris swarms remain plausible, the inability to resolve this phenomenon with conventional models increases its significance in the overall assessment. The longer the anomaly persists, without a clear natural explanation, the more it contributes to the growing uncertainty surrounding 3I Atlas. The size distribution anomaly further raises the stakes. If interstellar objects followed a natural size distribution, where smaller objects vastly outnumber larger ones, we should have detected many more objects of lesser size before 3I Atlas arrived. The fact that this object is potentially 10 times larger than any previously detected interstellar visitor raises two possibilities. Either our detection methods are flawed, or 3I Atlas is not a random sample from the natural population. This anomaly alone is enough to prompt further investigation, as it suggests that the object may be far more significant than initially assumed. The chemical composition anomaly specifically, the presence of unusually high levels of nickel without a corresponding abundance of iron, raises more questions. In most natural environments, nickel and iron appear together in roughly equal proportions. The decoupling of these elements in 3I Atlas implies an unusual formation environment or a selective process that concentrated nickel while excluding iron. This chemical signature, while not definitive evidence of artificial origin, warrants further investigation. The trajectory alignment and the retrograde orbit also stand out as unusual features. The precise alignment of 3I Atlas within 5 degrees of the ecliptic plane, combined with its retrograde orbit, suggests something more deliberate than a random interstellar object. If this object were a reconnaissance probe, it would benefit from such an orbit, as it would reduce the likelihood of detection while allowing it to pass close to multiple planets in our solar system. These trajectory anomalies add weight to the growing list of unusual features, though they do not by themselves point to extraterrestrial origins. The timing of 3I Atlas's perihelion, coinciding with solar conjunction, is another striking anomaly. During the critical days when the object was hidden from Earth-based observation, it could have performed maneuvers that would be invisible to our instruments. The possibility of an oath maneuver, a technique where a spacecraft uses a star's gravity to alter its velocity, has been suggested by R.V. Lowe. While this idea remains speculative, the coincidence of perihelion and solar conjunction raises legitimate questions about the object's true nature and potential capabilities. Together, these anomalies form a profile that defies conventional explanation. Each characteristic, individually rare, contributes to an overall picture that Lowe considers genuinely unusual. This profile has led him to propose that the object warrants more serious investigation than it has received thus far. The scientific community has largely dismissed the possibility of 3I Atlas being anything but a natural comet. But the accumulation of unexplained anomalies suggests that we may be missing something important. Critics of Lowe's Low scale, the 10-point system he developed to assess anomalous interstellar objects, argue that it is not a formally validated scientific instrument and reflects the personal judgment of one researcher. This criticism is fair, but it overlooks the larger purpose of the scale. The Low scale is not meant to provide definitive answers. Rather, it serves as a tool for engaging in open place, thoughtful dialogue about anomalous objects It allows scientists and researchers to discuss and evaluate the evidence systematically without dismissing it outright or falling into unfounded speculation. As we approach December 19th, the day 3I Atlas reaches its closest point to Earth, the scientific community is facing a critical moment. What will the data gathered over the coming days reveal? Will it confirm that the object is a natural comet, as NASA insists? Or will it present further anomalies that push us toward a more extraordinary explanation? The low scale provides a framework for assessing these questions, and the data from December 19th may be the key to understanding whether the object's anomalies are a product of natural processes or something far more remarkable. For 3I Atlas to reach level 5 on the low scale, there would need to be direct evidence of technological signatures, perhaps a radio transmission or artificial light. While some radio signals were detected, they were determined to be human-made interference rather than signals from the object itself. A dramatic shift in the brightness of the object, caused by artificial light rather than natural jet activity, would also significantly raise the likelihood that 3I Atlas is not a comet. However, the most compelling evidence would come from a sudden, unexplained change in the object's trajectory. If its path deviates from the predicted gravitational course without an observable cause, it would be the strongest indicator that the object is not simply a natural body. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory is monitoring 3I Atlas with unprecedented precision, and any significant deviation in its trajectory will be detected and analyzed. But here lies the deeper question: even if such a deviation is detected, how would it be communicated to the public? The lack of clear protocols for handling evidence of extraterrestrial technology adds another layer of complexity to the situation. While we have science fiction and speculative philosophy to imagine what an encounter with alien technology might look like, we lack concrete frameworks for how such an event would be addressed publicly. In the absence of clear guidelines, the responsibility to manage such a discovery falls to institutions like NASA, who are tasked with handling potential breakthroughs of this magnitude. The lack of transparency surrounding 3I Atlas and its anomalies only heightens the tension surrounding the object's true nature. As December 19th approaches, the weight of the anomalies surrounding 3I Atlas continues to build. The world waits to see what the data will reveal, and whether these anomalies will be resolved through conventional means or whether we will be faced with the possibility of a much more extraordinary explanation. Either way, the scientific community is on the precipice of a potential paradigm shift, one that will change how we view interstellar objects and the broader cosmos. The anti-tail that points toward the sun, the unusual trajectory alignment, the extraordinary size. 3I Atlas presents a mystery unlike any other. Whether we are witnessing the discovery of a natural wonder or an unprecedented technological revelation, one thing is certain: 3I Atlas is forcing us to reconsider our assumptions about the universe. The next few days will determine whether this object is merely an oddity or something far more significant, and the answers may shape the course of scientific inquiry for years to come. As the world eagerly awaits the closest approach of 3I Atlas to Earth, new developments are accelerating the conversation about extraterrestrial intelligence and disclosure. While the scientific community and government agencies continue to track the anomalies surrounding 3I Atlas, the cultural shift toward openness about unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, is impossible to ignore. This shift has been significantly influenced by the recent surge in documentary filmmaking, political pressure, and an ever-increasing public curiosity about what the truth behind these anomalies could be. On November 21st, the documentary The Age of Disclosure premiered on Amazon Prime Video, shattering records to become the highest-grossing documentary in the platform's history within just 48 hours. Outpacing major theatrical releases, this documentary dominated social media conversations and brought discussions about government knowledge of non-human intelligence into the mainstream with unprecedented impact. The timing of the documentary's release could not have been more significant, coinciding with 3I Atlas emerging from solar conjunction after weeks of being hidden behind the sun, and Spielberg's mysterious UFO film announcement just around the corner. The documentary features 34 current and former government officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, making extraordinary claims about the U.S. government's knowledge and concealment of extraterrestrial contact. What makes the age of disclosure so groundbreaking is the credibility of its sources. It presents testimony from military pilots, intelligence officials, and elected representatives at the highest levels of U.S. government, notably former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, and Jay Stratton, the former director of the Pentagon's UAP task force, appear on camera discussing their first-hand experiences with UAPs. Stratton goes as far as stating, "I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings." This documentary shifts the conversation away from fringe theories and brings it to the forefront of mainstream political discourse, with senior government figures asserting that the U.S. government has known about extraterrestrial intelligence for over 80 years. The documentary's central thesis is straightforward: non-human intelligence exists, and the United States government has known about it for decades. A secret program has been investigating and concealing evidence of extraterrestrial contact since the late 1942s, and major nations are now engaged in efforts to reverse engineer alien technology. This aligns with some of the ongoing concerns raised by researchers like Avi Loeb, who has consistently documented anomalies surrounding 3I Atlas. Loeb's work, and the broader scientific community's interest in these anomalies, continues to gain momentum in light of the documentary and the growing public demand for transparency. However, there are still significant challenges. The SETI Institute has protocols for confirming and announcing the detection of artificial signals, but these were primarily designed for radio astronomy and not for interstellar objects passing through our solar system. As a result, there is currently no international framework for responding to potential first contact scenarios involving physical visitors. Representative Anna Paulina Luna's demand for NASA to release classified images of 3I Atlas is a clear indication that such data might be withheld from the public. While NASA has not confirmed any additional observations being kept secret, the calls for transparency are growing louder, with Lowe himself advocating for complete disclosure. He argues that both the scientific community and the public have the right to see all available data, especially when it comes to an unprecedented interstellar visitor. This lack of clarity and transparency has created fertile ground for conspiracy theories. When official sources dismiss questions rather than addressing them, the public's trust in these institutions diminishes, leading people to seek answers elsewhere. It is no surprise, then, that 40% of social media discussions about 3I Atlas reference aliens or extraterrestrial technology. While this reflects the public's fascination, it also highlights a fundamental distrust in the institutions that are supposed to provide clear answers. Lowe's low scale serves as an important tool for fostering a rational, evidence-based conversation. The scale provides a framework for discussing the anomalies of 3I Atlas without falling into binary debates about its origins. Rather than claiming certainty, the scale allows for a graduated assessment, with ratings that reflect the strength of evidence for or against the possibility of a technological origin. For example, an object might be rated at level 3 or 4, acknowledging genuine anomalies worthy of further investigation, without jumping to conclusions about extraterrestrial technology. However, the scale also has its limitations. As media coverage of Lowe's assessments has highlighted, the alien hypothesis often overshadows the more nuanced possibilities. Headlines like "Harvard scientist says 3I Atlas could be a mothership" fail to capture the complexity of Lowe's views and the qualifications that accompany such statements. This sensationalism serves to distort the conversation, turning it into a spectacle rather than a thoughtful scientific investigation. As December 19th approaches, the Lowe scale will face its most significant test. The data gathered during 3I Atlas's closest approach could either strengthen or weaken the case for anomalous interpretations. Spectroscopic analysis will provide insights into the composition and velocity of material in the object's jets and anti-tail. High-resolution imaging will reveal the size and shape of the nucleus. And trajectory tracking will confirm whether the non-gravitational acceleration continues at the predicted levels. If the data align with conventional cometary behavior, Lowe has stated that he may revise the object's rating downward, confirming 3I Atlas as an unusual but natural visitor from another star system. However, if new anomalies are detected, or if existing ones cannot be explained by natural processes, the rating could rise to level 5, marking a fundamental shift in how the scientific community views the object. Should 3I Atlas demonstrate clear evidence of being something other than a natural comet, such as a sudden change in trajectory, the detection of artificial signals, or the discovery of structured light, then the Lowe scale will need to be re-evaluated to account for new categories. It is important to recognize that the Lowe scale was designed for objects whose nature is uncertain. It was not built to accommodate a situation where an object's origin is definitively extraordinary. And yet, as 3I Atlas's closest approach draws nearer, the possibility that we are on the brink of discovering something unprecedented in the history of scientific inquiry becomes ever more real. The story of 3I Atlas is unfolding on multiple fronts, blending cultural, political, and scientific narratives into a singular moment of global intrigue. The December 19th window represents more than just an astronomical event. It marks a confluence of disclosure, public curiosity, and scientific investigation that could shape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. As we watch this interstellar visitor pass through our solar system, we are left with profound questions about the nature of the cosmos and the potential for life beyond Earth. As the data pours in, the questions will multiply, and the implications for what we know about 3I Atlas and its origin will unfold. Whether the object is a natural comet, a technological probe, or something entirely unexpected, we are at the precipice of discovering something that will change the course of human history. The next few days are critical, not just for scientists but for the world at large. The age of disclosure is upon us, and how we respond to the extraordinary will determine the future of our understanding of the cosmos. As the excitement surrounding 3I Atlas builds and the documentary The Age of Disclosure shakes the foundations of public discourse, the line between what we know and what we speculate becomes increasingly blurred. The Age of Disclosure does not offer concrete proof of extraterrestrial encounters, no alien bodies, no recovered spacecraft, no hard evidence of non-human technology. Instead, it presents a series of claims, relying on the credibility of its witnesses and the viewer's willingness to accept their testimony as truth. This approach has sparked fierce criticism. The New York Times reviewer called those who watched the film chumps, while Variety pointed out that the documentary offers nothing new to sway skeptics, preaching only to the believers. Despite the critiques, the phenomenon surrounding the documentary cannot be ignored. It resonates at this particular moment in history for several reasons. First, its production quality sets it apart from many amateur UFO documentaries, giving it a level of legitimacy that others may lack. The Hollywood Reporter called it a sensationalistic wolf in understated sheep's clothing, noting that its polished presentation lent credibility to claims that might otherwise seem far-fetched. Second, the timing of the documentary's release is critical. It arrived amid growing public and political interest in UAPs, with congressional hearings on UFOs and whistleblower testimonies about recovered non-human biologics. The stigma that once surrounded UFO discussions has eroded, making it more socially acceptable to entertain these once dismissed topics. But perhaps the most significant factor is 3I Atlas itself, the arrival of an actual interstellar object, with a trail of anomalies that a Harvard scientist has argued cannot be explained by natural processes. This convergence of speculative narrative and real astronomical mystery has blurred the lines between documentary and documented phenomenon. The documentary's director, Dan Farah, confidently predicts that it will be followed by a momentous announcement, a sitting president stepping to the podium and telling the world that we are not alone. While Farah provides no specific evidence to back this prediction, the confidence with which he makes it reflects a broader shift in the culture of disclosure. Public interest in UAPs is at a high point, and the push for transparency is growing stronger, as evidenced by the proposed UAP Disclosure Act. This act, if passed, would require the public release of UAP records within 25 years, and includes provisions to prevent the destruction of such records. It has gained bipartisan support in Congress, though its fate is still uncertain. Representative Anna Paulina Luna's call for NASA to release classified images of 3I Atlas highlights how the documentary's influence has spurred more direct political action. If the government possesses additional information about the interstellar visitor, disclosure advocates want to know what it contains. The documentary has transformed such calls from fringe demands into political concerns that must be addressed. However, we must be cautious about the conclusions we draw from the documentary's success. High viewership alone does not validate the claims made within. Popularity is not synonymous with evidence. The age of disclosure could be entirely correct about government knowledge of non-human intelligence, or it could be a case of misinterpretation and exaggeration. The film's box office performance reflects the public's appetite for disclosure narratives, not necessarily the truth of those narratives. What is clear, however, is that the cultural landscape has shifted. Discussion of extraterrestrial intelligence is no longer confined to late-night radio or obscure websites. It is now featured in mainstream media, congressional hearings, major documentaries, and even Hollywood marketing campaigns. While the stigma surrounding UFO discussions hasn't entirely disappeared, it has significantly weakened. In this transformed cultural landscape, 3I Atlas exists. When Avi Lowe suggests that the object might be of technological origin, he isn't speaking into a void. He is speaking to an audience primed by decades of UFO narratives, government acknowledgement of unexplained phenomena, and recent media attention. This context has generated an unprecedented level of scrutiny, with amateur astronomers around the world capturing nightly images of the object and professional observatories dedicating time to study it. But the same heightened attention that aids scientific discovery also brings the risk of confirmation bias. If researchers expect to find anomalies, they may interpret ambiguous data in ways that align with those expectations. The 13 anomalies catalogued by Lowe might look very different if approached without preconceived notions about the object's nature. The documentary may not have created these tensions, but it has certainly amplified them by bringing claims of government cover-ups and non-human intelligence into the public's conversation. These claims have set the stakes higher for what 3I Atlas ultimately reveals. A conclusive natural explanation would disappoint the millions who have invested emotionally in the idea of first contact. An inconclusive result would lead to endless speculation and conspiracy theories. And an extraordinary discovery would validate a worldview that mainstream science has long dismissed. So, as December 19th draws closer, the conversation surrounding 3I Atlas reaches a boiling point. The documentary has been watched. The claims have been made. The cultural context has been set. Now, we must look to the object itself for answers. Answers that no amount of human testimony can replace. The age of disclosure may have already shifted the conversation, but only the data gathered on December 19th will reveal the truth. And as we wait, we must consider that the future of our understanding may depend on the scrutiny of this interstellar visitor. What we discover about 3I Atlas may be the beginning of a new chapter in our quest to understand our place in the cosmos. However, when it comes to interstellar objects like 3I Atlas, which may not fit within the parameters of traditional search methods, there is no established framework for confirming and announcing evidence of extraterrestrial technology. This lack of preparation has led to a lack of clarity around how to handle potentially groundbreaking data. In the case of 3I Atlas, we are dealing with a physical object rather than a radio signal, and the protocols for determining its origin are not as clearly defined. What happens when a potentially technological interstellar object enters our solar system? How do we prepare for such an event when the scientific community has never fully anticipated it? We are now facing a situation where the absence of protocols may contribute to a lack of transparency, creating fertile ground for conspiracy theories and fueling distrust. This lack of clarity has become evident with the actions surrounding 3I Atlas. As NASA continues to withhold some key data, the question arises, why the secrecy? What is being hidden from the public? Representative Anna Paulina Luna's call for the release of classified images of 3I Atlas serves as a stark reminder of the broader question of governmental transparency. If the government holds critical data on 3I Atlas, it raises further questions. Why not release it? What could be so sensitive that it needs to be classified? The lack of clarity surrounding this only invites suspicion and drives the belief that something more significant may be at play. 3I Atlas has followed this pattern of official statements, public curiosity, and then a sense of silence or evasion. The inconsistencies and delays in releasing data only add to the growing public suspicion. NASA's press conference on November 19th confirmed that 3I Atlas displays cometary behavior and poses no threat to Earth. However, it did not address any of the anomalies that have captivated the public's attention, such as the anti-tail. The absence of an explanation for this perplexing feature left many unanswered questions hanging in the air. Whether this was due to scientific caution or deliberate evasion is unclear, but it serves as an example of the type of silence that fuels speculation. In contrast, Avi Loeb has been vocal about the need for transparency. He has demanded that all available data on 3I Atlas be released, not just for scientific inquiry, but for the public's right to access the information on this once-in-a-lifetime event. Scientific data must be open to independent scrutiny and verification, especially when we are talking about an interstellar visitor of this magnitude. Yet, when data is withheld, it undermines public trust and fosters doubts about what is really going on behind closed doors. The absence of immediate data release doesn't necessarily mean there's a hidden agenda. It's possible that the data is still being processed, verified, and analyzed. This is normal scientific practice. However, transparency about when results will be available and what data has been collected should be part of the process. When major telescopes and spacecraft observe a previously unknown object, like 3I Atlas, and then remain silent about their findings, it raises red flags about whether or not the public is being fully informed. The question of what would happen if extraordinary evidence of technological origin were found is another critical issue. If scientists were to discover that 3I Atlas is not simply a natural comet, but possibly an artificial object, who would be responsible for releasing this information? How would it be communicated to the public? The absence of clear protocols for such a scenario only adds to the uncertainty and anxiety surrounding 3I Atlas and other similar commanding phenomena. SETI's search for extraterrestrial intelligence has long had protocols in place for confirming and announcing artificial signals. These protocols were developed for radio signals, which can be repeatedly detected and independently confirmed. But 3I Atlas is not a radio signal, it's a physical object. This discrepancy highlights the gaps in our current understanding of how to approach interstellar objects that may not fit the conventional mold. For now, we are left with more questions than answers. 3I Atlas continues its journey through our solar system, offering tantalizing anomalies that challenge our understanding of comets, physics, and potentially even the nature of extraterrestrial life. As we wait for December 19th, when this interstellar visitor reaches its closest point to Earth, we are at a crossroads. Will we finally uncover the truth behind 3I Atlas, or will we continue to be caught in the web of secrecy, misinformation, and uncertainty that has surrounded so many significant moments in human history? Whatever the outcome, the current moment in history has already changed the way we view the universe and our place in it. How 3I Atlas is handled, how it is studied, and what is revealed will shape not just the course of astronomical discovery, but also the relationship between humanity and the unknown. And as we wait for answers, one thing is clear: this is a pivotal moment in human history, one that will resonate for generations to come. The notion that 3I Atlas could be playing a role in the larger puzzle of extraterrestrial intelligence takes on added weight when considering its trajectory. When the interstellar visitor reaches its closest approach to Jupiter, passing within 53.4 million kilometers of the gas giant, the encounter will bring it within the gravitational range known as the Hill radius. For the uninitiated, the Hill radius is a boundary where Jupiter's gravitational influence takes over, surpassing that of the Sun. This zone is crucial for understanding the potential movement and behavior of objects in the outer solar system. What makes the situation even more intriguing is that 3I Atlas's current trajectory, which will pass so close to this gravitational threshold, was altered significantly by a phenomenon known as non-gravitational acceleration. This acceleration is often attributed to the outgassing of a comet's surface, as sublimating ice propels particles into space. Scientists initially tracked 3I Atlas entering the solar system on a path that would have missed Jupiter entirely, but its trajectory has now been adjusted by a force that might suggest more than just natural cometary activity. The mathematical likelihood of an object passing through the vast expanse between stars, being altered by such acceleration at just the right moment to pass near Jupiter's Hill radius, is incredibly small. R.V. Lowe, the Harvard astrophysicist, calculates the odds of such an alignment by chance to be about 4 inches 100. Ling ling ling. Though improbable events are common in a universe of infinite possibilities, the specificity of this event stands out, particularly when we consider 3I Atlas's unique status as the third interstellar object ever detected. Jupiter, a gravitational giant with a dominant influence over the outer solar system, has long been a focal point for speculation. Its Hill radius lies at just the right distance for objects to maintain stable orbits with minimal energy expenditure. This fact makes Jupiter's Lagrange points L1 and L2, at approximately the Hill radius, prime locations for long-term observation posts. From these positions, objects can maintain stable orbits for extended periods with relatively little fuel or effort. This raises a compelling question. Could an interstellar civilization have intentionally directed 3I Atlas toward Jupiter's Hill radius, possibly with the intention of establishing a long-term presence in our solar system? While this idea is speculative, the statistical probability of such a precise alignment and the advantages of this specific location cannot be ignored. A spacecraft or probe targeting Jupiter's gravitational sweet spots would have the benefit of a vantage point offering views of both the inner and outer solar system. The location would also make it exceedingly difficult for human technology to detect or interfere with such a presence. Lowe has suggested that 3I Atlas might even deploy technological devices, possibly probes or satellites, during its passage through the Hill radius. These devices could be placed at Jupiter's Lagrange points, where they would remain stable indefinitely, providing a perfect location for monitoring and observation. It's important to clarify that this is not a claim that 3I Atlas is definitely a spacecraft, nor does it imply that its trajectory confirms an artificial origin. The possibility remains that this is a natural comet, and there may yet be more conventional explanations for these anomalies. However, the sheer improbability of the event and the strategic value of Jupiter's Hill radius as a location for any advanced civilization make this a topic worthy of serious consideration. Even if no technological devices are deployed and no alien presence is confirmed, the question remains: why did 3I Atlas follow this particular trajectory? Was it a series of unlikely coincidences? Or is there something more significant at play? As we draw closer to 3I Atlas's passage through our solar system, the mysteries surrounding its nature continue to grow. With each new observation, more questions arise, and while scientists work to gather data and analyze these anomalies, the world watches intently, awaiting answers. The coming months and years will surely provide the clarity we seek, but until then, we are left to navigate the uncertainty, continually reassessing what we know and what we have yet to understand about the true nature of 3I Atlas. As 3I Atlas continues its journey through the solar system, the March 16th, 2026, encounter with Jupiter looms large on the horizon. This passage will be significant not just for the scientific community, but also for the growing speculation surrounding the object's true nature. With 3I Atlas passing within 53.4 million kilometers of the gas giant, it will enter Jupiter's gravitational influence, a region known as the Hill radius. This is a zone in space where Jupiter's gravity outweighs that of the Sun, creating unique conditions that could allow an object to be captured into orbit or continue its trajectory with slight alterations. The precision of 3I Atlas's trajectory at this point is remarkable. Initial calculations indicated that the object would pass much further from Jupiter, but non-gravitational acceleration, likely from cometary outgassing, has altered its course, bringing it within an incredibly tight margin of the Hill radius. This kind of precise alignment by chance is statistically improbable, with R.V. Lowe estimating the odds of such an occurrence at about 4 inches 100. Ling ling ling. If these odds are as unlikely as they seem, this precise trajectory could indicate something far more deliberate. The gravitational sweet spot of Jupiter's Hill radius is not a random location. It's an ideal site for long-term observation. The planet's massive gravitational influence allows objects at these points to maintain stable orbits with minimal energy expenditure. In the context of 3I Atlas, this proximity could be highly beneficial for any interstellar mission that might intend to monitor or study the solar system, making this location an optimal choice for a probe or observation post. While the natural explanation remains the most likely scenario, 3I Atlas's trajectory and the timing of its alignment with Jupiter raises an important question. Could this interstellar object be more than just a comet? Could it be an advanced probe sent from another civilization, using 3I Atlas as a disguise to gather data from our solar system without detection? The object's cometary appearance, with its natural-looking trajectory and outgassing behavior, could serve as the perfect cover for a more deliberate mission. The potential for probes to be released from 3I Atlas during its passage by Jupiter only adds to the mystery. If 3I Atlas is indeed a technological object, its small, possibly undetectable probes could be launched toward key targets like the Galilean moons of Jupiter, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, and Io, which harbor liquid water beneath their icy surfaces. These moons have been long considered prime targets for scientific exploration, and the 3I Atlas encounter could provide an ideal opportunity for an alien mission to plant monitoring devices in our solar system. However, detecting such probes would be incredibly difficult. The object's coma, an immense cloud of gas and dust surrounding the nucleus, would likely obscure any small objects released from the primary body. These objects could be lost within the cloud until they travel far enough to become detectable, and by that time, they could be separated significantly from 3I Atlas. Even with spacecraft like NASA's Juno and the European Space Agency's JUICE mission positioned to observe the encounter, the vast distances and limited visibility would present considerable challenges in detecting any activity beyond the visible features of the comet. This brings us to a critical point. If 3I Atlas is indeed a probe, and if it is meant to observe the solar system in secret, we might not know about it until the system decides to reveal itself. This is a scenario that aligns with the dark forest hypothesis, a concept often discussed in science fiction. The idea is that advanced civilizations might deliberately hide their presence from others to avoid potential threats. If this is the case, 3I Atlas would be the perfect stealth vehicle acting as a natural object in our solar system, while quietly observing us without revealing its true purpose. While this scenario might sound like science fiction, it's worth noting that it's not completely outside the realm of possibility. Our current search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, has focused heavily on detecting electromagnetic signals, primarily through radio astronomy. But this approach assumes that extraterrestrial civilizations would want to be found. and would use technology in ways we can detect. What if, instead, these civilizations prefer to remain hidden, sending probes into distant star systems without ever revealing themselves? In such a case, 3I Atlas could be an example of exactly that kind of mission, an advanced probe, disguised as a comet, that looks exactly as we expect it to, behaving in ways that fit within our natural models, but with subtle anomalies that point to something far more complex. The upcoming Jupiter encounter in March will provide a crucial test for these theories. If 3I Atlas continues along its predicted gravitational path with no unexpected deviations, it will strengthen the argument that this object is simply a natural comet. But if anomalies arise, such as changes in its trajectory, unexpected brightness variations, or signs of technological behavior, then the evidence would demand a rethinking of our assumptions. As 3I Atlas approaches Jupiter, astronomers will be watching closely. The alignment with the hill radius is too precise to ignore, and any strange behavior that occurs during this encounter could dramatically change how we view this object. Whether 3I Atlas is an interstellar visitor from a distant star system, an artificial probe, or simply a rare natural phenomenon, the coming months will give us the answers we need to understand what exactly has entered our solar system. We are just 3 months away from the most significant opportunity to observe 3I Atlas, and its encounter with Jupiter may ultimately prove more important than its closest approach to Earth in December. The answers we find will shape our understanding of interstellar objects, and perhaps even the existence of intelligent life beyond our planet. Whatever happens next, the coming months will determine whether we are witnessing an unprecedented scientific discovery or simply the passing of a truly remarkable natural phenomenon. For those who remain skeptical, it could be seen as just another marketing gimmick, capitalizing on the current cultural and political climate surrounding UFOs and extraterrestrial life. However, the sheer timing of Spielberg's release, coinciding with the closest approach of 3I Atlas, cannot be ignored. Whether intentional or not, this convergence has undoubtedly created a cultural moment, a shared experience where fiction and reality blur, and the questions about our place in the universe intensify. Hollywood has always played a significant role in shaping societal perceptions, especially when it comes to the unknown. For decades, filmmakers have explored the possibilities of extraterrestrial life, reflecting and amplifying the fears, hopes, and anxieties of their respective eras. Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind in 1977 offered a vision of extraterrestrial contact as a deeply transformative and spiritual event. Fast forward nearly 50 years, and Spielberg's return to the UFO genre, with a much darker and more suspicious take on government secrecy, feels timely. The world is a different place today, with global distrust in institutions at historic highs, and conspiracy theories swirling about everything from UFOs to public health. Spielberg's new film, with its focus on secrecy, the promise of disclosure, and a narrative that mirrors current anxieties, fits neatly into this climate of uncertainty. As the film's trailer premieres on December 19th, the same day 3I Atlas reaches its closest approach to Earth, the timing raises eyebrows. The words, "All will be disclosed" on billboards across Los Angeles and New York City do not seem like a coincidence. They resonate with the growing push for UFO disclosure, amplified by the release of the Age of Disclosure documentary just weeks earlier, which has garnered significant attention and support. The documentary, featuring government officials, has brought the conversation about non-human intelligence to the forefront, framing it as a matter of when, not if, the truth will come to light. Spielberg's film, by invoking these very themes, directly connects the cultural movement for disclosure with the approaching interstellar object, 3I Atlas. This synchronization of events, the trailer launch, and 3I Atlas's closest approach, blurs the lines between entertainment and reality. When audiences watch the trailer, They will be primed by Spielberg's fictionalized portrayal of government secrecy. Just as they encounter real-world data about an interstellar object with anomalies that scientists like Avi Lowe have been grappling with, the conversation that unfolds in the media will weave together speculation, conjecture, and real-world science, influencing how the public perceives the object and its possible origins. For some, this alignment of fiction and fact will be seen as a confirmation of their suspicions, proof that the truth is out there, and that Hollywood has long been preparing us for the revelation of extraterrestrial life. For others, it will remain a series of coincidences, a marketing strategy designed to capitalize on current cultural interests and anxieties. Whatever the case, it is undeniable that the timing of Spielberg's film and Three Eye Atlas's arrival has created a perfect storm for UFO discourse, where entertainment and scientific investigation collide. The question now is, how will the public react when the full scope of Three Eye Atlas's data becomes available? As December 19th approaches and the object passes closest to Earth, astronomers worldwide will collect the final pieces of data that may confirm whether Three Eye Atlas is just another natural comet, or if its anomalies point to something much more extraordinary. And as that data is processed, the cultural momentum surrounding disclosure, fueled by films, documentaries, and political pressures, will continue to shape how we interpret the findings. For Spielberg, this return to UFOs may not be just another movie. It could be part of a larger conversation about humanity's readiness to accept the possibility that we are not alone. Whether he is intentionally guiding this discussion or simply tapping into a cultural moment, his influence is undeniable. In the end, we may look back on December 19th, 2025, as the day the worlds of entertainment and science collided in a way that forever changed how we view our place in the universe. Now, as we stand on the threshold of a potential revelation, humanity's curiosity and imagination are at their peak, whether through science, art, or media. We have long been driven by the desire to know our place in the universe. The questions of extraterrestrial life, intelligent civilizations beyond our own, and the nature of existence have shaped history, sparked exploration, and even inspired the most brilliant minds in science and technology. Yet, the journey from curiosity to discovery is not always straightforward, and what we are now witnessing with Three Eye Atlas is part of that larger, ongoing human endeavor to understand the cosmos. In just a few days, as the object passes its closest point to Earth, the world will have its opportunity to gather the clearest data yet. Hubble, Webb, and ground-based telescopes will provide critical insights into the nature of this interstellar visitor. The anomalies that have captivated public attention will be under intense scrutiny, with scientists from around the globe seeking to explain the unexplained. Will the data reinforce the idea that Three Eye Atlas is just another comet from another star system, exhibiting odd but natural behavior, or will it reveal something unexpected, something that challenges our understanding of the universe itself? If the data confirms what most scientists believe a comet, albeit one of extraordinary proportions, then the world will breathe a sigh of relief. The anomalies will be folded into our expanding knowledge of the cosmos, and the speculation about extraterrestrial technology will fade into the background. But if the data challenges these expectations, if the features of the object, its trajectory, its chemical composition, its anomalous acceleration continue to resist conventional explanations, then the scientific community will be forced to grapple with questions that have never been asked before. What happens next is anyone's guess. But this much is clear. The entire world is watching. The convergence of Three Eye Atlas's closest approach with the timing of Spielberg's film, the release of a blockbuster documentary on UFOs, and the ongoing political push for transparency in UFO-related government activities creates a cultural moment unlike any other. The public's fascination with UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and government cover-ups has never been greater. And as the scientific community works to unravel the mysteries of this interstellar visitor, the conversations around it will shape the way we think about our place in the universe for years to come. The stakes are high, not just for scientists who are collecting data, but for all of humanity. The questions that surround 3I Atlas are not just questions of science, they are questions that touch on the deepest parts of our nature, our fears, and our hopes. If we are truly not alone in the universe, if there are other intelligent civilizations out there, how do we process that information? How do we respond to the knowledge that our understanding of life, intelligence, and the cosmos has been forever altered? For some, the answers may come swiftly and clearly, confirming what they have believed for years. For others, the answers may not come at all, as 3I Atlas fades into the distance, leaving behind more questions than answers. Whatever happens, we are living in a time of unparalleled discovery and uncertainty, and as we look up at the night sky, we are reminded that the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we have ever imagined. The story of 3I Atlas, whether it ends with answers, with more questions, or with the beginning of a new chapter in human history, will be one that we will remember for the rest of our lives. The question remains, are we ready for what we might find as we stand on the edge of discovery? The question we've asked for centuries seems ever more pressing. Are we truly alone in a universe that stretches across billions of galaxies, each with countless stars, or, as some suspect, is intelligence more common than we think, scattered across the cosmos, like seeds waiting to bloom? 3I Atlas may not answer this profound question, but it has brought us closer to a moment of realization. Even if this interstellar visitor turns out to be a natural comet, it shifts our perspective, showing us that the question of extraterrestrial intelligence is no longer just a matter of speculation. It is now something we can observe, something we can study, and something that, whether it's artificial or natural, has forced us to confront the unknown in new ways. This moment is further amplified by the cultural and media landscape surrounding it. The Age of Disclosure documentary, Spielberg's upcoming UFO film, and the ongoing push for transparency in UAP programs have all contributed to a cultural moment that is ripe for considering the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence. The stigma that once kept such discussions hidden has diminished, and the possibilities we are now exploring would have been unthinkable just a generation ago. What happens next will depend on what the data reveals about 3I Atlas. If it is a comet, we will have gained a deeper understanding of natural phenomena from distant star systems. If it is something more, something artificial, the implications could forever change how we view our place in the universe. But for now, we wait. In just a few days, December 19th will bring us the clearest data yet, gathered from some of the most advanced telescopes and spacecraft ever developed. The anomalies surrounding 3I Atlas remain, and so do the questions. Will we find that these anomalies can be explained by natural forces, or will we uncover something truly unexpected? No matter what, the data gathered over the next few days will change our understanding of the cosmos, and possibly ourselves. As we prepare for what is to come, we are reminded that the universe is vast, mysterious, and filled with questions we have yet to answer. We look up at the stars and wonder about the worlds out there, perhaps inhabited by beings just as curious as we are. 3I Atlas is just one of many mysteries, but it has brought us to a tipping point where the line between science fiction and reality seems thinner than ever. In 4 days, we may learn something that will change everything. Until then, we wait, we watch, and we wonder. I invite you to reflect on the possibilities. Whether you believe 3I Atlas is a natural phenomenon or something more, the journey we are on is one of discovery and wonder. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think 3I Atlas represents? And how do you think this moment in history will shape the future of our understanding of the universe? The truth, whatever it turns out to be, will come from evidence and careful inquiry, not speculation. But until then, the questions remain, and they are more exciting than ever. Good night. And remember, the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we have yet imagined.